Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch Special Edition here, January 3rd. Taking a look at the state of California. This is for tomorrow here. Moderate, slight, and marginal risk for excessive rainfall outlook here. If you zoom in, you can see all the areas here along the California coastline, including the Bay Area, all the way down past Monterey here, getting towards San Luis Obispo down there in California. And this will extend further south as we go on in through the following day as well. We'll take a look at more of that here in a moment. Now, if you take a look here, you can see the perfect storm developing out over the perfect ocean. I mean, very symmetrical look to this system out here. It's rapidly deepening as we speak. There's a lot of lightning associated with this storm as well. As you can see, the low pressure center here, powerful frontal system making its way towards the west coast of North America as we speak. This is going to bring strong winds as well, folks. Some gusts well up into the 60-mile-per-hour range, even up into the 70s for some areas of Northern California towards the Oregon coast. And this is going to extend all the way down through Central California as well. Damaging windstorm coming in here. Gusts 40 to 60, higher gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour on higher ridge tops. So watch out for those down trees and numerous power outages. Heads up and be prepared there. Damaging winds also shown here by the Sacramento, California here. And I think this may be putting out a high wind warning here for this area here. You can see it includes San Francisco, Stockton, Modesto, Fairfield, Sacramento, Yuba City, Chico, all the way up towards Redding, and of course the coastline there. So be prepared for that. Gusts to 60 miles per hour here in these areas shown. This is debris flow possible with all this rainfall coming in here, folks. There's flash flood watches up for these forest fire areas, the August Complex, Dixie West River, Mosquito Fire Complex, Caldor West here. So watch out for this threat as we go through these next several days and actually the next couple of weeks. There's multiple storms coming, folks, and this is going to get downright extremely serious for some people here across California, especially Northern California. This is the debris flow possible. You can see possibly major impacts, and I would go ahead and put that to extreme here if you include the 7 to 14 day period coming up, and I'll show you why here in a moment. This is also from the Sacramento, California National Weather Service here. You can see the forecast 2 to 4, foothills 3 to 5, mountains 4 to 7 inches here. The timing from 4 a.m. Wednesday to 10 a.m. Friday, January 6th here, and there is going to be multiple storms here, so it's not just going to be one and done here across California. There are going to be multiple rounds of heavy precipitation here over the next week to 2 weeks here. As far as these forecast amounts are concerned, we're probably going to overdo these in some of these areas. You know how it goes. These storms tend to overproduce in some areas. Some areas might get less, but right now we're trying to prepare for the worst case scenario for many people across the area here and trying to get the word out. Now taking a look here, high wind warning across much of the coastal area of Central California all the way down past Big Sur here, includes the Bay Area. Wind gusts up over 60 miles per hour are possible here. Stay tuned to your local National Weather Service forecast for more information. You can get new updates sometimes hourly from your National Weather Service office there. This is from Los Angeles National Weather Service. Big seas coming here as you go on in through this week. Storm force gusts up to 50 knots possible for some areas. Probably higher winds the further you go north outside of Los Angeles County, but big seas down there. You could get some beach erosion. Watch out, stay off the rocks. Watch from a safe distance if you want to go wave watch down there across Southern California. This is Los Angeles National Weather Service also. Look at some of these wind gusts up in the hills and huge rainfall amounts. You're going to have landslide activity and big flooding across the region there, and then it's going to be continued unsettled on in through the following week as well. Now, taking a look at this, this is the Pacific Ocean. There's Hawaii. Here's California here. Look at this jet stream just powering across Pacific Ocean here. And look at this. This is 200 knots. That's not miles per hour. That's knots. That's up over 220 miles per hour. And we put that into motion. You can just see it continue to bombard the west coast here. Here goes the big system shown here. Keep going forward there, and you can see the jet stream pointed into California here, bringing additional systems shown here. Another system as we go here, and I'll show you a little bit more closer look at these systems, and another one here as we go in towards the 10-day periods for multiple rounds of storms coming for California here. This is integrated vertical transport here. This is California. This is what we measure atmospheric rivers by based on duration and how much vapor is being transported by the atmosphere. And you can clearly see it, a strong atmospheric river moving into Northern California here, sliding down the coastline. Let's hope this thing stays progressive and does not hang up on any one point. If it were to hang up on any one point of the California coastline here, you would get excessive flooding in that area, and you would outdo a lot of these precipitation forecasts that are already bad enough as it is. So continuing on here, then you can see the next system impacting here in Northern California, moving all the way down through Southern California again, and then another one on the heels of that. Now we're on into January 9th, and this is another very powerful storm system that looks like it's on the way here for California, driving all the way down through Southern California again. And another one on the heels of this exists here. We're at 180 hours here, but if you go out to 240 hours in the European, you can see another storm system approaching the coastline. Now this is total precipitation in inches. Here's California here. Now we're scrolling through. Here comes the big storm as it moves down the coastline here. You can see the additional precip it's bringing. Some areas up over 5 inches here across the state of California. Then you'll see the additional storms roll in here as we go on in through this weekend and then early next week. And at the 10-day period, you can see some totals up over 1.5 feet possible across the area. And you know some of these are going to be some of the storms are going to overproduce in precipitation amounts locally for some of these areas too. So very intense storm systems coming in here. This is not good, folks. And I'll show you what the National Weather Service has been saying about this here in a moment. This is 12-hour precipitation amounts. So this is the amount of rain that's going to fall in a 24-hour period, or snowfall. But you can see some big amounts really along the North California area, all the way down the coastline into Southern California, the higher terrain. But look at some of these values, up over 3 inches just in 12 hours. It's going to be extremely problematic here for mudslides and debris flows and just general flooding across the entire state. Now looking at this total snow in Cuchera, put this into motion here, and this is the good part about it, at least somewhat. You're building up a good snowpack here across the Sierra Nevada here as we go out through the 10-day period, pegged off scale here. I mean, look at some of these values, up over 190 inches showing up on the European there, and finally topping out over 200 inches, some of the areas of the Sierra Nevada here. I don't know if that's going to verify, but it just shows the nice amount of snow that should be piling up across the mountains. The problem is the travelers going back and forth. You know, somebody always seems to be caught off guard out there. So watch your National Weather Service forecasts as you go, or stay tuned to my channel here, and we'll try to pinpoint some of these systems here. But you can see the initial big snowfall start to pile up here as we go through the day Wednesday. So heads up for that travel day on through the day Wednesday into Wednesday night across the Sierra Nevada. Now taking a look here, you got the European on the left, the GFS on the right, the American model there. This is the the 4 p.m. run here, the 12Z, and you can see the huge storm, the first of several to come across California there. The additional systems rolling across the area. Pretty good agreement between the GFS on the right and the European on the left that the Gulf of Alaska troughing stays active and continues to push these storms all the way down into California here as we go all the way in through the 10-day period, now showing all the way out to Friday the 13th there, January 13th. Taking a look here at accumulated max 10-meter wind gust, you can clearly see wind gusts up over 60 miles per hour all the way almost down to Southern California there, but not quite. But you can see some of the higher terrains and big winds as well. And even the valley areas, some mid-40s up towards 50 miles per hour as well. That's why those high wind watches are in place for many of the areas. Now this is San Francisco. Check this out. The mean, if you can see this, this is the mean wind speed in the European ensembles is 60 miles per hour. So an intense bout of wind is coming here on through Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, shown here. And you can see a lot of the ensembles are over 60 miles per hour. Again, if I talked about this yesterday, there's 1 through 50 here, and all these individual members are changed a little bit, their initial conditions. So they try to correct for any errors we may have in our initial conditions of the atmosphere. And then they run these out, and you can see that there's pretty good agreement between all 50 ensembles here that a big wind here is coming for San Francisco, California. This is the precipitation amounts for San Francisco. And you can see if you look down here, the control run is in the blue and the ensemble mean is in the green. So you can see 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 big precipitation makers coming through the 10-day period here for San Francisco, for example. This is Sacramento, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 as well, but some big precipitation totals showing up. These are 24-hour totals here, so you can see an 1.5 inches here potentially for Sacramento. Then again, as we go on in through the weekend, and then again the following week here is another very strong storm. Looks like it may be on its way as we go through midweek coming up. This is Fresno as well, just kind of showing you the differences, but just kind of showing you the general trend of additional storms rolling through the area here. This is Los Angeles, pretty good precipitation maker coming in here on Thursday. And then again, probably midweek as you go. A little bit less of an impact down through Southern California for the most part. Looks like Central and Northern California are really going to get hammered with this, but do not sleep on this system down here across Southern California, especially the higher terrain. Now looking at Mount Shasta, 1, 2, 3, 4 systems, big precipitation makers. Hopefully some of this can fall as snow and not totally drown out the entire area up there across Northern California. But you can see the ensembles are in pretty good agreement here with 1, 2, at least 3 systems, potentially 4 moving through the area. This is Ukiah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just you guys starting to get the hint here on just how many storms are headed your way. Mount Shasta wind speeds here. The mean is well up towards 70 miles per hour here. And you can see a lot of these ensembles even have up towards 80 miles per hour for some of the higher terrains as well. So if you're out in the boonies there, up on in the higher terrain, out in the backcountry there, watch out. Big storm coming up here on Wednesday. This is waves here. Look at this storm system out here, bringing some pretty big waves. Going to bullseye Northern California here, but it does stretch strong waves all the way down through Southern California, and that's what the National Weather Service down through Southern California is warning about. But these stretch all the way from Vancouver Island through Southern California. Just a monster storm out here. This is 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. I've talked about this kind of ad nauseum at this point, but additional systems are on the way, clearly shown here by the National Weather Service. 8 to 14 day. They've upped this from the yesterday run here for the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook all the way through January 17th as well. So this is what the National Weather Service has been saying today. It's not a one and done storm. Details are still hard to pinpoint, but the message is several more storms look to be lined up for this weekend into next week towards Martin Luther King weekend. The cumulative effect of these storms could be quite debilitating. That's very strong wording from the National Weather Service, which is usually pretty conservative in what they're saying. This was put out this morning. To put simply, this will likely be one of the most impactful systems on a widespread scale that this meteorologist has seen in a long while. The impacts will include widespread flooding, roads washing out, hillside collapsing, trees down, potentially full groves, widespread power outages, immediate disruption to commerce, and the worst of all, likely loss of human life. This is a truly brutal system that we are looking at and needs to be taken seriously. The National Weather Service is usually very conservative in their wording, folks, so this message should be taken seriously. Stay in touch with your local authorities, your National Weather Service forecast. Stay tuned to my channel here. I'll try to talk you guys through it. I may do a live stream tonight. I'm not sure. If not, I will have another briefing out tomorrow morning before I go on to my day job. And yeah, so anyway, this is a big storm. I hope you guys are taking it seriously. I see a lot of interesting comments here when I start talking about California, but it is a pretty big deal, and it's going to be a big deal for a lot of people here, especially across Northern and Central California. So anyway, I'll either talk to you guys tonight in the live stream or tomorrow morning in the briefing, and I hope you guys have a good day and the storm doesn't end up being too bad for the state of California down there. So I'll talk to you guys either tonight or tomorrow.